Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 29th. Excuse me. Hope everybody is well. Today I'm going to speak a little bit on when not to sell too soon. Basically utilizing stop losses. Yesterday, the end of my video, I basically had a stock that was exploding, went up like 70% while I was recording. So excuse me for having to stop recording. So I had to like focus. To kind of quickly summarize what happened, I ended up selling because I wanted to make sure I captured that money. And so, yeah, it actually went up right after I sold, which was very gut-wrenching because I was already down quite a bit. And so I was recovering losses at that point, and I just couldn't take the chance of it like tanking, because it had ran several times before, it didn't hold, and it just kept going lower, and it has been going lower for a long time. Okay. I mean, to short something all the way down to under a penny and then to hope that it's gonna come back, that's very unlikely. It's very, very risky. So anyway, yeah, I sold and then it exploded, and I was very worried that the next day, today, in the pre-market, it would explode. I could have gotten back in. I should have gotten back in because it went up like 150%. So it went up to 0.032. Yeah, it closed at like 0.01. What was it? 13? I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Wow. Yeah, and where my average was 0.043. So it was just a penny away. This is one of my most painful trades. I've had this happen to me before, kind of in a different way. It wasn't recovering losses, it was just that I sold too soon, so I just didn't capture the extra money that I could have made. I mean, it's the same situation. I could have recaptured, I think, when I totaled up the difference between where I sold and where it just went, it was like another, what was it? $250. Wild. Anyway, the market's just about to open. I'm keeping my eyes closely on Nvidia. They got some more good news, I guess you could say, about their partnerships and what they're reporting, especially in relation to AI. Tomorrow, the CEO, along with, sorry, my cat's attacking me, J&J, or Johnson & Johnson, Toyota, and what other car dealer? I think it's another Asian car maker, but those CEOs are going to meet with Trump tomorrow, so this is going to be real interesting. See what comes out of that. I guess this was the other thing I had in mind as far as CGC. That's what I was talking about in my last video about me recovering those losses. So that was just kind of ironic that my next stock I was trying to recover from was doing the same thing. It does look like CGC might have hit its support and may go up again. I considered getting back in it, but it really needs like the marijuana declassification news to go up, or better yet, I don't know if Tilray might pull CGC along with it when that goes, because that's the word on the street, is that Tilray has a lot more room to grow and has better financials than CGC. Now CGC is and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they are the leader in the marijuana industry in the stocks. I don't know. I believe that's what I remember finding out, is that they're the big guys. Anywho, so let's see what happens with this market, and we will talk some more. All right, so the market opened and it's kind of like trading sideways, I'll say. Nothing too crazy has happened. Let's see what I'm noticing. Well, Logic Mark is still like crazily holding its gap up, which, man, I want to cry. I really hope it doesn't get to my old average price. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna need a heavy drink. Before I go into like the other stocks I'm in or the market, to go over what I did wrong. Hopefully I will learn this. I've made these mistakes multiple times, but mind you, like I said, I've only been actively trading single stocks for 5 years, and at that time I wasn't like so I was swing trading, but I didn't know what I was doing yet. I was still learning a lot. I was still learning my indicators and chart analysis and or technical analysis, and doing your research and what to look for, and we'll go into that in another video. But basically, I don't like using stop losses because they get triggered a lot, and people end up, get stopped out, and then it does exactly what happened with me, except for I didn't utilize a stop loss. I just sold at a wall, basically. That's what happened. And it was crazy to go into detail. It hit 0.0159, and I had seen in the level 2 orders how there was a wall at 0.16, and I like zoomed out. That's how I knew there was also a wall there, because I had seen that was a previous high. So I was like, okay, well, it's going to test that high. But it was like struggling. It kept going up. It kept trying, and it just wasn't doing it. And I started to see it, deflate. And I shouldn't have sold that soon. I should have just hung on and just waited to see. And, but I got like frantic. I didn't know I didn't want to lose my losses. Like I said before, I had seen it pump and then dump and not maintain and hold its, price. So I was worried. And people have been just like talking so bad about, oh, it's going to get delisted as a piece of shit. It's garbage, trash. They're stealing everybody's money, blah, blah, blah. The shorts are just winning, and yada yada, the bears. And so yeah, I basically was like, I gotta take my money. I'm sorry, you guys. I just, and it sucked because I had like 18,500 shares. So I sold, and I'm talking within 3 seconds after I sell. I must have been the one holding everybody. I swear this always happens. I'm the guy. They like read my IP address. They like see my transaction ID or something. They like see my name like, oh, there she is. There's Michelle. She's exited. Time to fucking go. And I'm like, why? 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 This happened to me with Holo. Okay? Holo, here's the other horrible one. Listen to this one. I had an average of $1.10 or $1 and something, and I like sold for like $1.20. I don't even know, some stupid 10%. And I'll go into this 10% little, I don't know if I'll call it a strategy, but I'll go into the 10% rule. I call it a 10% rule. So anyways, I sold, and that was another one that was just like going down and down, and I was just like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm sorry. It went up to $9. Okay, $9. What I had like $100. It was stupid, but 100 it turned into 9. That's, I think, my worst mistake ever. That or GSAT. I don't even know. GSAT I sold for a huge loss, just like I did with Logic Mark. It was like hundreds. It was like $600-700. And if I had held it like long, I'm talking like years. I think it was like the next year, it went up above my price and some. My husband likes to make fun of me for GSAT. Anyway, now my new one is Logic Mark. Great. Gotta stop doing this. But I know what to look for. You know, I'm hoping this doesn't happen again. Especially, I had my husband like barking in my face, like, don't sell, don't sell. Even though like last time with CGC, he was like, sell. And I was like, no. He's like, well, just do your TA, like make sure. And I was like, we'll see. And then I was like, oh, I don't want him to be right. So I sold, and then of course then I was right. I was like, oh. And then this time again, like when it was running, he was like, sell? I was like, I don't know. I was like, no. And then I didn't listen to him, and I was like, and then it kept going, and I like ran over to him, and I was like, ha, ha, ha. And then he was like, well, sell now? And I was like, looking at the indicators, was like, well, and then we saw, and I was like showing him, I was like, there's a wall. And he's like, well, we could just wait and see what happens when it pushes past that wall, if it does. And then when I was struggling, and I was like, I don't know if it's going to do it. And then I should have just waited that like one more minute. And I'm telling you, one more minute, it would have just, so lesson learned, utilize a stop loss. So that, yeah, if it went below where I was comfortable, then it would have just, captured me and sold me and stopped me out. But instead, yeah, like I said, I sold at 159, not that 160 or above. And it went to 320, sorry. I talk sometimes in terms of like, it sounds like dollars or whatever. 0.0324, I think it was. So 150% return in the pre-market, like 130 at the opening. Stupid. Anyway, going back to the general market, I think right before I clicked back on, NVIDIA was going back up to 109, so maybe we are going back up, folks. I ended up flipping my money out of Logic Mark, and hopefully we are gonna make back that loss I was recovering, or I guess you could call that. That's what I'm trying to do, or just make the money grow that I put in a Wheeler. That's where I went. Wheeler, WHLR. That's the ticker. It's a real estate company, but I went in there because it's a runner. It does some great pops, and the reason is because it's a low float, or there's a small float. And when that happens, basically, when there's low supply, low amount of shares to buy, and the demand is high, well, you know what happens with that. And then it squeezes. And so the tricky thing with that one, though, is making sure that you have a good exit, because there's such a low float, you have to make sure that there's somebody on the receiving end to buy your shares when you're ready to sell. And if there's not that many people buying or selling, it may not hit your price. In other stocks that have like huge market caps, and that's the other thing, it's a low cap. So low cap, low float. Those are some of my favorites in penny stocks. But I don't just do that. I do a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, I'm in NVIDIA, and that's like 108 or 109. I don't know where it is right now. I have to take a look. I don't have my iPad with me right now, so I'm blindly letting things just go. Hooray! Sorry, I'm just laughing at myself. No, I trust my trades right now. I have sell limits in place. Again, like I said, I don't utilize a lot of stop losses because I'm like always actively watching things. And I know things aren't going to like tank on me like that, at least not in my like retirement account. So I have like different accounts and portfolios, money that I trade, different strategies and stuff like that. And what I mostly talk about here is my high risk, high volatile account plays and stuff like that, because like they're good. They're like 100% runs, and yeah, I mean, that's how I got my 80, what am I at? I have to look at it, 83% return in the last 3 months. So yeah. And anyway, so I have my high risk, high reward account. I have my IRA, my retirement, and my other investment accounts, which I do differently, and that's where my NVIDIA is over there. So I think over there too, I have like Lunar or Intuitive Machines. They got good news today. What college? A big college picked them. It was a Texas college. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember as I like think away from staring at the screen. They got good news. What else am I in? HMR. It's actually an IPO. Or was it a SPAC merger? No, that's what it is. It's a SPAC merger. Anyways, it's the financials and everything about them looks great. They have subsidiaries like all over. Anyways, we'll go into that later. I made my big money, like my $3,000 in 3 days, like $1,000 a day play was with BHAT. They're sitting on like a metric ton of gold, yo. They're sitting at, well, they had a reverse split happen, and this was after I got out. But are they at $2 right now? I don't know. It's still a freaking good price, even though if you factor in the reverse split, I mean, what is that? Like, it's probably like 2 cents. I forget what this reverse split is for them. It was kind of big. So, but they might go. I mean, gold, everybody knows gold has been going up. That's been a crazy one. Been beating the markets. It was beating Bitcoin. I think it still is. But Bitcoin's sitting at like 95,000. You guys, and I gotta go into this one because my TA can be really, really freaking good, which makes me laugh and probably will make you laugh at the fact that if my TA can be that good, then how come I can't freaking exit out properly? Like, why did I sell my logic mark wrong? I'll go into that one later, I guess. But I literally was talking to my friend, my girlfriend, and we talk crypto. And she does a lot of like tying in astrology, and she talks a lot of, with astrologers and reads charts and the horoscope and everything, and follows a lot of people on X, aka TikTok. No, I'm TikTok, sorry. Twitter. Oh my god, I'm tired. So she follows a lot of people on X. We get a lot of information there, but when it hit 109, and I knew it was probably going to come down sometime soon, just because something that you should definitely learn and study are chart patterns. So when I seen it, I was like, oh, that looks like it is just rising too much like this at the flag that it was creating. Was that called a rising pennant? Anyway, so I was like, it's gonna go down before it goes back up. And I was like, well, where's it gonna go? And I was like, if it were a perfect world and, it retracts where it should, or where I think it will, I told my girlfriend, I was like 75. And everybody's like, it's not gonna happen right now. And I was like, and I kept telling this is what's crazy too. The day it hit 109 or somewhere around that, I also noticed the stock market hit the high. Trump won the election, and then I was like, shoot, is the market gonna tank now after? And so I was telling my broker, because I was like, man, it is so over bought. The market is it's too hot. It just can't keep going right now. It has to come down before it goes back up again. So I was telling my broker, I'm all, dude, I think the market's going to come down now. And he's like, he didn't laugh. He kind of agreed. And I was like, no. And I was in the process of like transferring over my 401k over to them and into an IRA. And I was like, I think I might want to actually like move the money over, but put it in a cash account, because I think the market is going to tank. And I'd rather sit on cash. And then once the market gets to that bottom, shoot, buy. Well, because of the way that the transfer happened, the timing of the transactions and what they allowed and all of this, like if I hadn't done it, they're like, well, it could take up to like 2 weeks to move over and finalize. And I was like, 2 weeks? I was like, oh no. I was like, okay, maybe that'll be the good timing. Maybe that's the time that it hits the bottom and I come in. Kind of happened, kind of didn't. I didn't totally get the bottom, so I got close to it, but then it like dropped down, and then I saw like my retirement go down a little bit. I was like, oh, but it recovered. So that's good. It's still recovering. I'm still not back to where I was when it moved in there, but hey, you know what? I was telling my broker, I was like, you know what? Regardless, the bigger picture is I still have like, I don't know, 25 years until I retire. So this dip is going to be nothing in relation to like the gains I should make by the time I retire and the strategy I use. This is just like a hiccup. But at least I did have some cash that I captured this bottom. So with like my NVIDIA, I took some of my retirement account and I was like, hey, let me actively trade some of this, even though like you guys don't want me to put it in like single stocks. I didn't. The majority of my money was like 90% of my money I think I put into like like a fund account, like it's allocated, like spread out and diversified. So they're managing that for me. So, yeah, I'm gonna see how well I can do this other flip account with my IRA, my little mini flip, I call it. My high risk, high reward account. I should probably go right now and see what's happening with my Wheeler. I hope that it does what it's supposed to do. It basically hit its 52-week low yesterday. So I got in at $1. My average right now is $1.17. Let's hope. I mean, last time it hit its low, it went to like $6. So I'm hoping for a squeeze. I'd love for 100 to 200% if I can. I mean, I'll take whatever. If I see a good gain, I might just get out and just kind of jump into something else. And that's what I've been doing. So I will touch base in just a little bit here. We'll see what happens with the market. We'll recap and we'll go from there. Well, if you enjoyed my video today, please hit that like button and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So tune in for more.